So, as you will have gathered, this is not your uncle's Blackbird. There are many tunes called the Blackbird in the Irish tradition, and this is not the usual set dance or slow air or even the various hornpipe versions that exist. This is played as a slow hornpipe, but this is the tune that was recorded by Jackie Daly and Kevin Burke on the CD Eavesdropper back in 1981 with very nice classical guitar accompaniment by Ignatius Comerford. And I've tried to find out more about this tune, and the closest thing I found to it, you can find it at the website tunearch.org, the Tune Archive, and apparently this tune is very like one that's recorded on that website, in that archive, that was preserved in the mountains of the eastern United States by fiddle players. But then again, the version they give is not quite the same as this, so it's an unusual tune. Now let's break it down so you can learn it, and maybe we'll look at basses later on. So the tune is, I suppose we could say it's an E minor, but we're going to start on an A here. And I recommend you use your middle finger for this. That's the first phrase. You could do that slightly differently. You could do as you like. So one more time. Then we're going to jump up to this little phrase here. One more time. And then we're going to jump down here to the B with our third finger, with our middle index ring finger. So putting those three little bits together. And the next move is to get our index finger back on G. So one more time. Now, after we've got our index finger back on that G, an octave jump. So we start on G here, to high G. Once again. Last time. And there, we're at the end of the first part already. Let's see how that works together slowly. So that's the first part. You'll notice one of the reasons I want to show this tune, apart from it being a nice tune, I want you to get used to playing what we might call semitone dips. There's a lot of them in this tune, and I've even stuck a couple more in, or at least one more anyway. So the semitone dip would be start on the main note on the inner row, go to the semitone below, which is just handily placed on the outer row in the same bellows direction. And we've got another one here. And there's a lot more to come in the second part. So let's get on with the second part. We're going to start on B, and we're going to climb up the scale to the B above. Now, there's various ways of doing this, but here are the notes. That's how I would finger it if I wanted to stay on the row. Now, to make it more legato, we can use the outer row F sharp as follows. That's one way of fingering it. Another way you might like to try is the kind of crossing your fingers over, which some teachers recommend you don't do, but other teachers I've seen doing it. So your ring finger on the F sharp, and then like that. So however you finger it, that's the phrase. I would recommend using the outer row F sharp for a bit more fluidity, but it's up to you. Next phrase. Put those two together. One more time. Now the second time we've just played, we start the run up on E. I'm sliding here. And then so the second run up, if you like. So the second part so far. One more time. And you might have noticed I like to give a little bit of shape to that A by gliding in from the G sharp. Now, here comes the tricky bit, the second part of the second part, the second part of the B part. I think I've added one of these in, it's not on the original recording, but it's fun. Then go down. So far, that last little phrase. And then ending tag. So, taking the whole second half of the B part. Again. Whole second part will sound like this. do that. The whole second part will sound like this. Repeat. So that's the second part. There's something I didn't do here, which you might. If you wanted to grace the top B, because the C's in this tune are natural, if you wanted to grace it, you would do it with the C natural here. So try that. So there you have the whole tune. That was the Blackbird. I might look at basses in a later clip, although I'm not very good at following up on those promises. But the chords would be basically E minor, da, 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 A minor, D, E minor, G, E minor. Second part you might do something like this. E minor to G to D, back to E minor again. You could do that as well, or if you wanted, the second time there you could end on an A chord, giving you a kind of an unresolved feeling. So, second time. G, D, D again. Something like that. Not all that easy a tune to accompany on the basses. That's the Blackbird. I hope you enjoyed it. So don't forget to press the like button or subscribe, and see you soon.